Good afternoon. And welcome to Third Presbyterian Church for this, our first ever Concert for Justice. I am the Reverend Rebecca Seegers, one of the pastors here, and it is my joy and privilege to welcome you to this event. We are so excited to step out in faith, proclaiming the need for justice in a variety of areas. So there is going to be an opportunity for you to celebrate and hear about some areas that support each one of the issues we're raising today. We're raising climate justice, we are raising housing justice, and LGBTQIA justice. So all of which are so important in our, and we believe, in God's sight. So we're grateful for your presence here, grateful to have the opportunity to stand up and witness for what needs to be cared for and worked on in our world today. And it is my privilege to, the format today is basically that before each different group sings, we're going to have someone stand up and speak on the area that they are representing. And we're also going to be taking a free will offering to support each one of these areas. So first, I would like to invite Justice in Action, RAICA co-president Ruth Marchetti, to come and share with us this afternoon. Thank you, Ruth.
Hi, good afternoon. So for those of you who are not familiar with RAICA, we're a group of people from diverse backgrounds, diverse faith backgrounds, who share a common belief in the sacredness of the natural world and our obligation to use the resources of the earth wisely for the good of all who share this earth and all those who will come after us. We believe that faith groups are uniquely positioned to be leaders in the fight to address both the causes and the impacts of climate change. Love of neighbor, a call to act justly, and the requirement to care for those who lack resources are common to most faith groups. Our hope is to provide the tools to empower houses of worship to make their buildings more sustainable and their congregants more committed to building a healthy, sustainable earth for themselves and for others. Climate justice means that people with fewer resources have the same access to healthy, comfortable, efficiently heated and cooled homes as we with greater resources, especially Black and brown people who have been denied the opportunity to build generational wealth through redlining and other discriminatory practices. It means that the green economy provides training and good jobs for people coming from neighborhoods that have been deprived of educational opportunities. Climate justice means finding solutions to the climate crisis that not only reduce emissions or protect the natural world, but that do so in such a way that it creates a fairer, more just, and more equal world in the process. As injustice is a root cause of the climate crisis, so fighting for justice must be at the heart of the solutions. Climate justice recognizes that the lives of those already facing injustice or oppression are made harder by the impacts of the climate crisis. As with all other justice issues, environmental harm occurs at the intersection of so many other threats of life and dignity. In looking for solutions to climate threats, we are also creating a more fair and just community. So central to climate justice is an understanding that those who have done the least to cause the climate crisis that we're experiencing are the ones who are already suffering the most and who will suffer the most in the future. In our own community, those effects continue to be things like lead poisoning and asthma, indoor and outdoor air quality, respiratory diseases besides asthma, heat waves, unsafe housing, flooding, brownfields, unequal attention to green space and tree planting that Third Presbyterian is helping with, in disadvantaged neighborhoods. So beyond our borders, it means drought, flood, famine, and social unrest will drive people to seek refuge elsewhere, including the U.S. And we, as people of faith, need to be welcoming. So partnering with ROC-ACTS, a local faith-based community organization focused on poverty issues, RAICA is reaching out to smaller congregations in lower income areas to connect them with the local energy hub and get them signed up for energy audits in order to access funds for weatherization and heating plant updates. We have a small grant from New York Renews where, so we can pay for the audits. It's just $100 for a smaller church to get an audit for their house. Already this morning I was down the street at AME Baber and provided the check to them and did a little educational thing with their group. Last week I was at Abundant Life over on Jefferson Avenue. So it's so important that we connect and engage with people in our community that have been disengaged and disconnected and ignored for far too long. So why focus on congregations and their leaders? Because people of faith recognize God as creator and humans as having a particular responsibility to care for and sustain the earth. Climate change threatens the lives and well-being of people throughout the earth, but especially the poorest among us, and those who have done little to contribute to the problem. Love of neighbor includes future generations. We are called to do justice. And finally, people turn to their place of worship for comfort and support in times of grief and for hope in times of despair. Understanding climate change inevitably brings grief and anxiety and a need to be able to speak openly about their fears. That's what faith communities have been doing for so long, and they're a resource for people now. It's also a great way to get more young people because you are engaged with their own concerns and you're relevant to them. So bringing young people back to the pews. So I thank Third Presbyterian for their concern about justice. I know they've been long concerned about justice and for including climate justice in that umbrella. Thank you.
Good afternoon and welcome to Third Presbyterian Church. It's so wonderful to see so many faces here today to celebrate this concert for justice, as Pastor Rebecca said, as we strive in three particular areas, but knowing that there's much more to do in all of these areas and more still. I just wanted to take a brief second to thank the many people that have made this concert possible. Thank you to the three musical groups that are blessing us with their music today, to the Third Pres Chancel Choir, who I don't think went home after church this morning, to Thomas Warfield, who we're about to hear and I know will be absolutely stunning, and equally to Transpose, who traveled all the way from Ithaca to be with us. I'm so grateful to them. I'm also so grateful to the three charities and representatives of them that have chosen to come and speak with us this afternoon as we learn more about the amazing work that they do. And also to thank you for being here, for taking time out of what is a busy time for everyone I know, and especially in the life of this church. I'm grateful for you all for making the time to be here with us this afternoon. It's now my great pleasure to welcome from Family Promise, Leonette.
Sorry, I'm a little shorter. Hi everyone, thank you so much for having me. My name is Leonette Rivera. I am the Associate Director at Family Promise of Greater Rochester. Many of you here from Third know us as RAIN, but we changed our name a few years ago to just kind of bring about all of the services that we provide. So we have a presentation up with I don't know if anyone can see it. There we go. We just like visuals. So, Family Promise of Greater Rochester, I'll just read you our mission and vision. We start every meeting, whether it's staff meeting, board meeting, committee meetings, reading our vision and mission, because we feel like that just brings us back into why we are why we are doing what we're doing. So I'll just read you those real quick. Our mission, Family Promise of Greater Rochester, will assist families at risk of experiencing homelessness, to achieve sustainable independence by providing person-centered, holistic services in collaboration with the greater community. Our vision, Family Promise of Greater Rochester, will have achieved success when affordable, decent, equitable housing is seen as a human right and every family has a place to call home. On our next slide, just showing staff. We are a small staff of 6, but we are mighty, no matter how small we are. We have been around for 20 years. We are celebrating our 20th year this year. We're so excited for that. Thank you. We were, for many years, up until 2017, we were in the building, the house right next door, here at 34 Megs, and we moved into a bigger space to bring about more services. So we've been at 142 Webster Ave for a few years now. We offer 4 core programs at Family Promise of Greater Rochester. So we started off first giving emergency shelter to families. So we let the family define family. We are open to anyone as long as they have a child 18 or younger in their custody. So we've had head of households be grandmas, grandpas, aunts and uncles, you name it, we've seen it. In our shelter program, we have been able to help many families that are working, receive SSI, that many families aren't able to go to emergency shelter at like DHS and receive services from them. And we're happy to provide services to those families. We have reached, I'll get to that in a little bit. Sorry, I'm a little ahead of myself. So with shelter, we have We have that program. We have our aftercare and stabilization program. So once a family moves out of shelter, we've been able to provide services for up to a year, sometimes more, depending on the family's needs, to ensure that they are safely housed and stabilized right after coming out of shelter. Statistics show that first year can be pretty unstable for many families trying to get back on their feet. So helping them, assist them, working through the various systems in the community. We also have a prevention and diversion program, which helps families to try not to come into shelter with us. So preventing from eviction. So if they're behind on rent for about a month-ish, give or take, every situation is a little bit different. We're able to assist with that back rent. We have a very small amount of money, but we try our hardest to help as many families as we can each month and provide those services to them. Families that do receive those services are also eligible to receive aftercare and stabilization because no matter what, they have had some sort of rocky situation, and we want to make sure that the next year following through is a good year for them. Diversion is to make sure that the families are not entering the shelter system. So that is helping them with a security deposit or first month's rent, which many times is hard to come up with. Rents are ridiculous right now, if you guys have ever seen it out there, but trying to come up with sometimes $3,000 when you're a low-income family is not easy. So we're trying to help families to assist with that so that they're not having to do all of that, plus have all their housing, their moving costs and all that. And finally, our transitional housing program, which I will consider my baby. We just started that last year. That will be a 2-year program for families that are working towards some more stability in terms of maybe buying a house. We are helping them with home ownership programs, savings, things like that, so that they can, at the end of 2 years, work towards owning their home and not having to rent. And that is going to be our biggest success when we can get to families through that program. So with our shelter program, we have 6 apartments. We have 2 apartments, sorry, just switch things up. We have 2 apartments in the city on Ketchum Street, and then we have 4 apartments on Portland Avenue. We're able to assist 6 families at one time. In 2023, we ended assisting 29 families in just our shelter program. Now that may not seem like a lot, but we do not put a time limit on our families. So what we like to do is encourage them and support them along the way to finding housing. It's not easy to get into an apartment nowadays. It's so hard. So having to, walk side along these families and ensure that they are getting all the services that they need is important to us. Overall, we've had 797 families last year alone that we calculated that we were not able to assist. That is very sad to us. Our phones ring like crazy. I was on vacation last week. I just got off a plane last night. I don't even want to know what the numbers look like from last week. So it's pretty intense. We probably get on average about 10 families calling us a day for shelter or any other services. For our prevention and diversion program, we were able to assist 122 families last year that we are so proud of. We were able to distribute $122,302. That is pretty impressive. And just for timing, our transitional housing program, as I mentioned, is we have 3 apartments right now, right above our offices that we've been able to renovate, but we will be getting at least 8 more in the next few months. They won't be available right away, but we have a partnership with another agency that we will be getting some more units to be able to have more families into that program. We're gonna go on to one more. Nope, sorry. Affordable, decent, equitable housing is just revisiting our vision and mission statement, and just to make sure that everyone understands affordable housing is not what we think it is. It's not it's not affordable. And it's really sad, and we really need to have everyone's assistance in the community to be able to provide that affordable housing to families. It's pretty sad to see how many families are not able to assist, and we're not able to assist for various reasons. They have to be doubled up, tripled up sometimes with other families. I don't have a lot of time, sorry. If you want to go 2 more slides, just 2 more slides, sorry. Nope, we're gonna go. I just want to give everyone a little visual of some, so I'll just keep talking. So what I'm trying to show you is a little budget of an average of what we see. And once we get to that, we'll see. So their monthly income alone is $1,820. Rent is $1,000. That right there just tells you that this family is set up for a little bit of a bumpy month. Then they have utilities, they have a car payment, they have car insurance because they have kids. They gotta get kids to work, to school, they gotta get to work and things like that. And as you can see at the end, what they have is $74, but the reality is they probably don't. Because if their kids want McDonald's, they're gonna get the McDonald's. If their kids need something, they gotta buy more things. So they're not going to have that at the end of the month. And that's something that would really love everyone to kind of see, is the budgeting of what our families are dealing with. They have such little, but they make it work somehow, some way. We are amazed every day of what our families are able to do with the little amount that they get every month. I'm sure Valerie can attest to that as well, that it's so difficult. But I'll just end by saying that, visit our website, fpgroc.org, and we have many events going on throughout the year. We have a great 20th celebration happening in the fall, so please follow us on our social media, and I hope everyone enjoys the rest of the show.
A home provides comfort, shelter, safety. It's the place where we learn life skills with those who care about us. It's the place where we figure out who we are. I like what Glinda, the Good Witch of the North, says to Dorothy in the musical The Wiz, when she says, home is a place we all have to find. It isn't just a place where you eat and sleep. But home is knowing your heart, knowing your mind, knowing your courage. And if we find ourselves, we're always home, anywhere. When I think of home, I think of a place where there's love overflowing. I wish I was home. I wish I was back there with the things I've been knowing. When that that makes the tall trees bend into leaning. Suddenly the snowflakes that fall have a meaning, sprinkling the sea makes it all clean. Maybe there's a chance for me to go back now that I have some direction. It would sure be nice to be back home where there's love and affection, and just maybe I can convince time to slow up, giving me enough time in my life to grow up. Time, be my friend. Let me start again. Suddenly my world's gone and changed its face, but I still know where I'm going. I've had my mind spun around in space, and I watched it grow. And oh, if you're listening, God, please don't make it hard to know if we should believe what we see. Tell us, should we run away? Should we try and stay? Or would it be better just to let things be? Living here in this brand new world might be a fantasy. It's taught me to love. So it's a real to me. I've learned we must look inside our hearts to find a world full of love, like yours, like mine, like home. Myself, times of trouble, Mother Mary comes to me, speaking words of justice, let it be. And in my darkness, she is standing right in front of me, speaking words of justice, let it be. 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 Speaking words of justice, let it be. deep in our hearts. We must believe. We shall overcome today. Want to sing it with me? We shall live in peace. We shall live in peace. We shall live in peace. Live in peace we shall live in peace someday. When our way is cloudy, there is still a light that shines on me. Shines until tomorrow. Let it be. 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 Shine until tomorrow. Let it be. You know, one of the things we're always teaching, I almost said always preaching, but always teaching, is to celebrate our oneness, the things that make us the same. But I will try and suggest to us that we celebrate really what makes us different and unique, that we encourage one another to be different and unique. Because we're all created differently and uniquely, there really isn't any reason to try to be the same, because we're not. And also to think of that difference as what actually connects us. And it's like this song that talks about a rainbow, and there's all these different colors. And yet, they're all connected. They make up one whole tapestry, just like our lives do. And so I want to strongly suggest that we think about celebrating the differences and the uniquenesses and the different perspectives and ideas and imaginations that make the world so beautiful. There's not one moment or one corner of this planet or this universe that is the same. When all the world is a hopeless jumble, and the rain tumble all around. Heaven opens its magic lane. When all the clouds darken up the skyway, there's a rainbow highway to be found. Leading from your window pane to a place behind the sun, just beyond the rain. Somewhere over the rainbow, way up high, there's a land that we've heard of once in a lullaby. Somewhere over the rainbow, skies are blue, and the dreams that we dare to dream will come true. Someday I'll wish upon a star and wake up where the clouds are far behind me, where troubles melt like lemon drops away above the chimney tops. That's where you'll find me, somewhere over the rainbow. Bluebirds fly. Birds
So again, good afternoon and welcome. Thank you so much for being here, for participating, for listening, just for being present in this moment. The church, the Church with a capital C, was really founded on a few important things. It was founded on being welcoming. It was founded on being a place of healing, of wholeness and restoration. The three issues that we chose to address tonight are issues that maybe, if you were to look at the church's track record, may be a little suspect. Over the years, we haven't always done super well at some of the things that we're talking about tonight. So on behalf of the church for the last 2,000 years, let me offer my sincere apology. Some of the things that we have done and said, not necessarily in this pulpit, but throughout the Christian church, has been hurtful. And so we're really sorry for that. But as Thomas was just singing and he mentioned about dreams, at Third Church we have dreams, right? My name is Ted, I'm pastor for Outreach here, and our dreams are about being a place of healing, of restoration, of wholeness, of welcome, of being a place where you can be unique and you can be yourself, but you can be part of the community, and we just are. That's central to who Third Church is, and that's why I'm excited to be a part of this community. And that's why I'm excited that we can do this, take this opportunity to raise awareness, to raise opportunities to be in action and to be in advocacy too. Action's great. Advocacy might be a little bit better. So we're trying to raise all of that tonight. But, as Lionette mentioned, we're also raising one more thing. Did you bring your checkbooks or cash, right? We take Venmo, any of that. Like, we're raising money today too, right? This is a concert for justice. It's a fundraiser. All of these beautiful people and the beautiful work that they do need money to sustain. And we are committed here at supporting, and we've begun to have better relationships with some of the folks who are presenting here tonight. But we need your money as well. Our church has committed $1,500 to add to the pot of whatever money we raise, which will be split evenly between the three groups presenting. There are baskets at all of the doors, so you can't get out of here without at least seeing a basket to put something in. But sincerely, the work that's being done by these three organizations is underfunded. They're doing amazing work. They're bringing justice to places that desperately need justice, particularly here in Rochester. So please, as you listen to Valerie Douglas here in a second from Arnett House, from Center for Youth, as you think of what's been said and what's been sung, just let that move your hearts in ways that open up pocketbooks a little bit. If you want more information about how to support these organizations, come see me. We can talk, we can plug in. There's lots of great work that we're doing and that we could partner and collaborate with. Appreciate your time, your being here, your passion, and your finances. We love all of it. So now let me welcome up Valerie Douglas, Director of Counseling and Runaway Homeless Services for the Center for Youth and at Arnett House. Valerie.
So as I'm sitting there listening to all the wonderful music and thinking I have to come up after Mr. Warfield, can we give him another round of applause? That was amazing. Thank you so much. I had to come up after the big ask too, so thank you for that. I think I want to start out by saying I've been told over the years that when I talk about this subject, to please stop talking about it. At family dinners, at the holidays, my family's like, can you just say you work at Starbucks, please? And while I understand that what I'm going to talk about and some of the statistics I'm going to give out are heavy, they're not fun to hear, that ultimately when it comes to young people, and the young people that I'm going to be speaking about, the resiliency, the bravery, the uniqueness, the sheer will to be in the world as their authentic selves has given me nothing but hope and courage in my own life. So I hope that as some of these statistics come out and some of the information I'm about to share, think about that. Think about that because in spite of all of this, these young people are thriving and they're making their way in the world in ways that we might have been very challenged to do so without these added situations. So there was a national study done, the only national study done about 5 years ago out of Chapin Hall. So those of you who like data and numbers, you can Google it, it's still up there. It's called Missed Opportunities, and they did a prevalence study about homelessness in the country. And they found out that for ages 18 to 25 for young people, 1 in 10 would experience an episode of housing uncertainty within a year, and 1 in 30 ages 13 to 17 would experience unstable housing. And when they say unstable housing, they don't just mean moving around with their family, they mean disconnected from family, on their own, no family support, not knowing where they're gonna be from night to night. I joke around with my friends and family and say, oh, living in a dorm for 4 years, that was my transitional housing, right? But the stuff that I did in college would get me kicked out of a transitional program for someone who was experiencing housing insecurity because there isn't that safety net. So the folks that are in our homeless programs, the tightrope that they walk is much more severe than what we would experience with our family support. That study also found that for young people with certain demographics, certain life experiences, they dug into those numbers to see what their prevalence was. And for LGBTQIA2+ young people, they were 120% more likely to experience severe forms of homelessness than their peers. And when I say that, that's not a number that it's about them. That's not a number about anything that these young people did. This is not a number out of any intrinsic trait of being from the LGBTQIA2+ community. It's about how everybody else treats them. It's about how families treat us, how families engage with us, right? So when we think about this, these are young people who are already trying to get through the world. They're like any other young person, having their first loves, their first crushes, failing their first exams, and then on top of it, they are unable to safely be who they are without experiencing really significant repercussions of that. We meet a lot of young people who won't even come out until they're maybe off in college, or they get out on their own in their own apartment just because they know how unsafe it's going to be at home. Or they leave home without ever telling their family because they know they cannot tolerate anymore at home, but they're going to leave before they get kicked out because that heartbreak is too much. When we think about that heartbreak, we think about, I do a kind of a comparison with young people who are in foster care. We know also foster care is another predictor, that 40% of young people who age out of foster care are homeless within 4 years, right? I think about the young people I've met over the years who have gone through incredible trauma through foster care, who have been trafficked, who have been abused, who have been kicked out, all of those things. And you can be talking to them about what's the kind of worst thing going on in your life right now, and you as an adult looking at them might be like, oh, it's the trafficking, it's the drug addiction, it's whatever it might be, and the young person will tell you it's the rejection from my family. That could have happened 10 years ago. You could be looking at all this trauma in their life right now, but they'll go back to that family disconnect. So I think about the young people that just got kicked out or disconnected from their family simply from being their authentic selves. So the Center for Youth started about 50 years ago by teenagers at Brighton High School. They wanted to have a place to talk to other people about their issues. They wanted it to be free. They wanted it to be no barrier, voluntary, and they wanted the confidentiality to be with them, not their family, not CPS, not the school. So they started their own peer kind of counseling. And our first executive director was 18 years old. So 50 years later, our executive director is not 18 years old. It's not the same person, but we've grown. We're a huge organization. I'm not going to go into all the different stuff we do, but I'll just talk about, we've been the only shelter for minors ages 12 to 17 in Monroe County for the past 40 years. We've had over 100 young people come through our shelter every year. So think about that, 100, before COVID it was 200, right? Things have shifted with COVID. But we have over 100 young people coming through ages 13 to 17 who have been kicked out, who have run away from their homes. And this is from all over the county, right? So having done this work for 40 years, been the only people who have done it with minors, and then we expanded in transitional housing and all of that, the center has been working with LGBTQ young people for all that time as well, right? Because those, we know with that percentage of 120% more likely to be homeless than their peers, we know that that has significantly impacted right here in Monroe County, the youth who are coming through our programs. So about 4 years ago, we saw one of our transitional living programs that was apartments, we have 15 apartments, was over 50% LGBTQ young people, just in that one program. And we realized that even though this is the population we're serving, even though this one program was over 50%, we knew there were still young people who weren't gonna come out to any program anywhere unless it really specifically said, this is a safe place for you. This is for you. We see you, we hear you, we value you. So we started thinking about and seeing, you know, what was out there and what we could do and what kind of a program we wanted to have. And one of the other things that became clear was that not just like the 16, 17, 18-year-olds, but we were also finding young adults, those young people aging out of foster care, maybe turning 21 and kind of coming out of college or losing kind of that family support. We're also feeling unsafe in shelters. You know, not every shelter, unfortunately, is like Family Promise, who is a welcoming, affirming space for people, right? So you have a 22-year-old trans woman who is not gonna feel safe necessarily in some of the kind of larger, you know, shelters we have for adults. So we said we need to do a program that's even a little bit older. So we opened up Arnett House, which is a little tiny house, 3 bedrooms, 6 young people can live there. It's ages 16 to 24, and we are staffed 24/7. The idea is for them to come in and stay with us for 6 to 8 months to then get stabilized to get into another program that they feel comfortable in and are ready to go into, or even to launch and get their own apartments or go back to college or reunite with their families. We've had young people come through and be able to reunite with family, which is always a goal if that's what people feel safe and want to do. More often than not, they find their own family, right? They find that home. It becomes their friends and other safe adults that are in their life. So we feel very honored to do this work. We feel very lucky to be doing this work. We're very appreciative of the young people who come through it every year and tell us what we're doing wrong, what we can do better, what they liked, what they didn't like. And with our transitional living programs across the board, we really focus on young people finishing their school or going on into 4-year degrees. We have an amazing success rate of young people who come work with us who end up, if they're in high school, they pretty much 100% graduation rate and about a 75% rate of going on to a 4-year school, sometimes full rides and scholarships. So we really want to help young people be young and do things that are just what their peers are doing and living their full lives. So we appreciate your time and appreciate you having me here, and I'm gonna let you hear more wonderful music, and I'll be around afterwards if you have questions or wanna hear more about the work we're doing. So thank you so much.
We're so excited to be with you here today supporting this Concert for Justice. We are Transpose, the Ithaca Queer Singers Alliance. From our mission statement, this group is a non-auditioned community chorus that celebrates queer, trans, and non-binary identities through the joy of singing. Our mission is to create beautiful music in a supportive and accessible environment which empowers LGBTQIA+ singers. Our membership welcomes singers of all genders and sexualities and any background, disability, voice type, or experience level, including those with changing voices and fluid identities. We seek to foster connections among our membership and throughout the broader Ithaca community. We invite those who support our mission of proudly uplifting Ithaca's vibrant queer, trans, and non-binary community through solidarity and song to join us as your full, authentic selves. This group is led by two people, Jonah and Sona, who are not here today, but if you would like to see us, them, and several other members of Transpose, we have a concert next Sunday in Ithaca at this time. So you can find information about that by looking online at Transpose Ithaca. Just search that and you'll find the webpage with information. I just want to note one song change in today's program. The first piece was written by one of our members, and so it will be premiered next week. And so we are shifting to a song from last concert's program. This is titled Sweet Mary Starbuck. And this one was particularly touching to me. I grew up Quaker and learned about Nantucket, the Quakers on Nantucket, the Coffins, which is a family there, and all these folks. And yet I didn't know that there were not included in the stories were some of the queer polyamorous folks there. And so we'll share this today along with the other songs that are listed in your program. So thank you.
But in town life goes on, and it goes on apace, with children and letters and merry sweet things. So when John comes, I'll give him a kiss and a smile, and a good woman's wife I will be for a while. And in time I'll stand watching his sail fit at sea, then go home where my true love lies waiting for
Once again, thank you all for being here today. Thank you for singing, thank you for listening, and as Pastor Ted mentioned, thank you for donating as you walk out these doors. We think one of the greatest blessings would be the possibility of this group here, this audience here, matching the $1,500 that we at Third Church have given so that each one of these organizations might walk out with $1,000 in hand for the good work that they are doing. So that's my goal and charge to you, is to be generous as we ponder how we together might truly make a difference. We decided that before we invite you to head out and to meet the singers and the participants and to join us for a reception in Johnston Hall here, sort of up to the steps to my left, we would love to close this time together singing one of the favorite hymns at Third Presbyterian Church, which is called For Everyone Born, and the first line goes, "For everyone born, a place at the table." So you can see where that idea of inclusion that has flowed through this entire time together will be how we'll close it out. And now the lyrics will be up on the walls here, so you'll be able to see all of them. And James is going to play it through once, because while some of us might know it, some of you may not. So you'll have an opportunity to hear this very joy-filled hymn before we hope you will join us in singing it with great joy before we head off to wherever it is that we are going next. Once again, thank you so much for being with us today. I was just asked a wonderful question, to whom do we write checks? The answer is Third Presbyterian Church. We will add the money and disperse it to the 3 organizations.